that everyone that has a heartbeat present on Earth will automatically ascend to 4D. Does this mean that the Cabal will also ascend the same as us?
Well, if there's any of them left alive, yeah.
Yeah, there's any of them still alive and on the surface, and of course. Yeah. But
that
won't be the case.
Yeah, and that also doesn't mean that they're going to be able to continue going along or creating the bullcrap they've already been doing.
With you stating that this transition will happen automatically, so does this mean things like special meditation, Kundalini yoga are helpful but not needed or required to go to 4D?
Well, they're helpful. They're helpful for getting people personally prepared to deal with the change, psychologically prepared, because it's a big change. They're not required. There is no equipment required. There is no special technique required. It is a natural, automatic thing. I would say the same thing with any psionic abilities, including telepathy. You won't need any chambers to give it to you. You won't need any special equipment to boost it. You won't need anything artificial. It will be automatic and natural.
I mean, I say in general, things like yoga, Kundalini, any kind of energy work, anything like that it's good stuff to learn, and it's beneficial not only to prepare yourself for the transition, but to stay healthy and balanced even in the higher dimensions. The people in 40, 5D, 60, all the way up, they all do Kundalini, they all do yoga, they all do all various kinds of meditations. It's something that's just part of the normal lifestyle for the average being up there in the higher dimensions. And so to learn it now, it'll put you ahead of the game, and it'll be beneficial to you not only, in the sense of the transition, but for your own health and your own well-being in general. So I recommend it regardless.
I do have a little bit of opening remarks that I want to say, and it's actually about another contactee / incarnate who has done a lot of work in this field, faced personal and financial consequences for this in terms of his house, his family, his job. A great forerunner in the industry and in the movement, a forerunner before the forerunners. Alex Collier really deserves a shout out from everybody involved in this, because without him, a lot of us would still be in the dark and sleeping. Without the work that people like Tolek and Alex Collier have done, a lot of people, including myself, would likely still be in the dark and sleeping and nowhere near prepared for what is to come. So I just want to give a shout-out tonight to Alex Collier. I doubt he's listening, but if he is, know that you're appreciated, man. You do and did some wonderful work, and we are very glad that you chose to do what you did.
I totally agree, TANAATH, because I was just earlier today telling a friend of mine that it was Alex Collier, along with my brother and my pony, that really got me started, introduced me to all this stuff, and really got me thinking. And, I wouldn't be here today without him, for sure. So, sending my love to Alex Collier, too. You rock. Thank you.
And he's faced a great deal of difficulty for this work.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody who thinks we're doing this for attention, for fame, for wealth, there ain't any in this, honey. It's just not the case. We face a great deal of ridicule. We face personal risk. We face the loss of our livelihoods, loss of personal contacts for this work. And we've chosen to go ahead with it anyway, because it's needed for the benefit of all.
And that's why we're here. It's for the benefit of all, not for the benefit of ourselves as individuals.
The whole race is telepathic. And I want to back up just a little bit. There are 28 different races there. Not all are human. Many are dimensional plasmic, organic, that were there before the human aspect of the Andromedans themselves, or the Lyrans got there and became Andromedans. There's a lot of life on the different dimensional levels that if we were to go to fifth density, we would be physical on fifth density, even though here we're on third density. Our perspective of them is being spirit. So, on each of the different dimensions, there is an abundance of life that is completely different than how we would perceive it. Because, our perception is of what third density is like. Even fourth density is very different, but we will have physical form in fourth density.
Now, is third density the lowest density, or are there others lower?
The animal and insect kingdoms would be, and planetary systems would be considered lower, but to be perfectly honest with you, I've not had a clear definition of that, because I haven't asked. My focus really has been us, and where do we go from here?
Right.
So
now, what is the main difference between the third density and the fourth density?
The real difference is consciousness. In fourth density, you can pretty much instantly create what it is that you think. Whatever your thoughts are, you manifest almost instantaneously. So there is a major degree of responsibility in dealing with that. Also in fourth density, we become more of a group mind. In fourth density, we're all telepathic. In other words, everybody can read each other's minds, which means you have to be real. You can't have hidden agendas because people will see right through you. Also in fourth density, we all become clairvoyants. We'll be able to see energy fields, see life forms, which means that if you're hiding something, it'll be seen instantaneously. They've also said that in fourth density, when we move into that, our court systems will change. There's still a positive and negative. That exists all the way to the fifth density, where you will experience to a strong degree the dualities in our everyday environments. What will happen is you'll have a judge and you'll have a jury who will all be clairvoyants, and they will read the energy field and know who's telling the truth and who isn't. And everything will be judged based on that, will be based on energy, not on words. In fourth density, when you walk by somebody or you touch somebody's hand, you will instantly know everything about them. So again, there will be no hidden agendas. Everybody will really have to be real. And if they choose to have and continue to play out their agendas, whatever those are, then they will have the space. But you will know, or people will know, I will know who we're dealing with instantaneously.
Now, Alex, you said they're evolving spiritually. What do they want to evolve towards? What spiritual goals do they have?
I guess to be just the best that they are, to be completely at one with all that there is at all times. There are 11 creational densities, and my understanding is that within each of the densities, you change your physical form. Their goal as a race is to go from the densities that they experience, which are 3, 4, and 5, I guess, to move to 5, 6, 7, and 8, and then from there 8, 9, and 10, and then to 11, and now the new dimensional realm that's being created, 12. It's just to continue to evolve. Nobody knows exactly what the ultimate goal is, because the essences that they're in touch with that are on 9th, 10th, and 11th are continuing to evolve. And now there's a 12th density that's being added to our universe, and they're being drawn up to experience this new density. So nobody really knows what the ultimate spiritual goal is. They themselves are still searching for what God is. They know it exists, but what it is, nobody really knows, which is why they call it the isness. It's just a force that's there. And how we perceive it is based on how we perceive ourselves and our own belief structures, belief systems. And that's how we use the energy to create.
Now, You mentioned that they're in contact with essences from the 9th, 10th, and 11th.
Yes.
Can you describe what they describe these beings to be like to them, and what they would be like to human beings?
It's just pure consciousness. What their daily lives are like, I don't know. I don't have any idea.
Have they described them at all in any sort of detail to you?
Just light.
Just light.
Just light.
Oh, just light.
Just light. That's all I know. We're a little bit behind than they are because of our manipulations here. But the real bottom line here is we're all spirit. We contain a soul. That soul is a part of all that is. And that soul has been really trying to be recognized in each of us. And it hasn't been because of the material and the belief systems that we have evolving around us being earth people, about being physical, and about the real truths of our essence, of our existence, of who we are, having been blinded from us, from our spiritual teachings, from the religions, and us being convinced that we're something that we're not, that we're physical, that we're animal form, and we're not. We're spirit. Our spirit animates these physical forms, period.
Alex, what is the Andromedan Council?
It is a political body that's represented by now 133 different races and cultures and planetary systems. There are over 1,200 systems and planetary races, evolving races that could be part of the Andromedan Council, but not all of them are. It would be comparable to Earth here, like a United Nations, except it's not a United Nations in the sense that it has a political agenda. The Andromedan Council, as a body, their sole purpose is to facilitate evolvement of all life in the galaxy. And that's really what their goal is to allow all life forms to evolve on their own without manipulation. Obviously, that's not occurring here on Earth. And we're not the only ones. This is occurring on 22 other planets in our galaxy.
So its overall goals then are to elevate the spirituality of all life forms in their own particular ways.
Evolutionary ways, right. That they evolve according to the degree of their consciousness.
Now, how and why was it first brought into existence, the Andromedan Council?
I don't know. I do know that it was formed. It was formed shortly after the Orion Wars, which was a huge war that lasted 600,000 years in our galaxy. And it was predominantly between the humans, the human race, of which there's all kinds of humans, hundreds of billions of humans, and those of reptilian races that do coexist in our galaxy.
Now,
there was no winner, by the way. Apparently both sides got so tired of killing each other, they just kind of stopped, and a undeclared truce was formed. And I know in Orion, where there's a very large group, they have their own political group called the Orion Group, and the humans and other life forms that came together formed the Andromedan Council. And there are others, that are a small part of each of the galaxy, and other galaxies apparently have their own little groups where people come together and decide, what's happening, or they communicate with each other. There's trade, there's bartering, there's a sharing of wisdom, of knowledge, of essences, so that everything can evolve together and work in an unconditional love type of space.